Hey there, and welcome to the Women Aging Powerfully podcast. I'm your host, Leah Vachani, certified menopause specialist and nutrition coach. Each week, I chat with top experts on nutrition, fitness, hormones, sleep, fat loss, and other crucial menopausal topics your doctor might be skipping over. We simplify complex science into actionable steps for your daily life, empowering you to tackle menopausal symptoms, weight challenges, and boost your overall health. We are not about aging gracefully. We're about aging powerfully. So grab your headphones, turn up the volume, and dive into this episode. Hey, welcome back to Women Aging Powerfully. We have some really exciting news. We have a new episode that's going to be dropping weekly. It's Q&A with Kelli and Leah, where you, the listener, gets to actually ask whatever you want. It can be nutrition, fitness, mindset, strength, personal question for me or Kelli, whatever you want. And if you ask those questions and we feature you, both of us are going to be answering those questions. And I'm going to let Kelli introduce herself officially in just a second. But if you don't know who I am, I'm the nutrition side of this dynamic duo, and Kelli is the fitness side. And together, we really cover every topic in midlife and beyond. So we're super excited to do these Q&A podcast episodes weekly. And if you want to ask your question, you can find the link to go leave your voice memo somewhere in the show notes on this page. Kelli, BFF, introduce yourself.
Hi. I am Kelli Harvey. I am a certified personal trainer. I've been in this field for about 15 years, and I specialize in spinal health, back pain, and posture. And then there is also the mindset and confidence piece that I coach on as well. And I have 3 little girls who are 10, 12, and 13. So everything that I am experiencing and going through as a 47-year-old woman, I look back, and this is what I coach my daughters on to make sure that they have the confidence and the correct mindset to get them to this point as well. So I am very excited to do this.
I love it. And our first question comes from Jen. So here's Jen's question.
Hi, to those of us with daughters in their early 20s, what advice do you suggest we give them about their future midlife health? Basically, what mistakes did most of us make that we should help to ensure the next generation doesn't? Thanks. And you can definitely use this for your podcast.
Thank you, Jen, for that question. I think that's actually a great question that a lot of people are thinking on their minds. Especially I have young girls. And so as I raise them, what am I coaching them on? What are we looking to do, from our 40s that we were doing in our 20s, maybe wasn't right in our 20s. And the first thing I want to say is we weren't making mistakes, because mistakes are something that you knowingly are doing incorrect. We did the best with the knowledge that we had at the time. A lot of the scientific information behind exercising, cardio, lifting, all of these belief systems that people had as well, we were telling ourselves that we were listening to experts, and we did what we thought was the right thing to do. So we didn't I don't want to say that we made mistakes. I just want to say now we get to reflect on what we did in our 20s, our 30s, even our teens, and then we get to educate our girls, our daughters, or the younger population, the youth population, on really what works versus, and getting them to midlife like we are, right? Versus what might not benefit them. And one of the things that I push quite a bit, a lot, a ton to all my clients, lift heavy things, lift weights, build muscle. This is going to really set you up for success later in life, but not even just later in life. It's actually going to help you prevent injury, prevent falls, prevent breaks, right? And so if we can strengthen our bodies, I tell my girls, again, they're 10, 12, and 13. So I am in the heat of this, these teen years, and I'm coaching them to be strong. If you ask my girls why I work out 5 to 6 days a week or mornings a week before they get up, they'll tell you it's because their mom wants to feel strong. Nothing to do with how I'm going to look in that result, but it's about building the strength so that I can carry them I can carry heavy boxes. I can do all my own lifting. And let's talk Christmas decorations. Putting all of those away requires a lot of strength. My girls on a regular basis, they'll help me lift something. They'll look at me and they'll go, this is why we lift weights, because we're building the strength. And I think that's a huge piece of advice that I would give to anybody in their, teen years, their 20s, especially into their 30s, and then in your 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s. It's necessary.
Oh, I love that so much. And I love that the culture is shifting now to focus on strong, not skinny. I mean, for those of us that grew up in the, 70s, 80s, 90s, like it was all the rage to be skinny. And I think we got caught in that, like, no fat, calorie cutting, like under eating, undernourishing. And I love now that there's this push in culture to focus on protein, for example, right? Like a lot of people are talking now about protein. Are women, especially women, are we getting enough protein? So to Jen's question, to her point, like having daughters in their early 20s, I'm hoping that they're actually being exposed already to this culture that is really lifting up the idea of, yeah, women can eat more protein, should eat more protein. And like you said, Kelli, we get to lift heavy. We get to focus on being strong over skinny. So I'm loving this movement that is happening right now. And I would say like another thing is with all of the new research into just overall health and there seems to be more awareness. It seems like something that we're all willing and actually curious about, like talking about more. So I love that, girls growing up in their teens, 20s right now will get the benefit of that. For us in our 40s, 50s, 60s, especially 50s, 60s, even 70s, there were decades where we didn't talk about menopause. There was kind of a halt on even like talking about hormone replacement therapy because of the study that came out in 2002, the Women's Health Initiative study that kind of put the brakes on a lot of help for women in the hormone replacement area. And so that's another thing I'm really happy to see is that we're talking way more about what is perimenopause, what is menopause, how can we be proactive about going through these years and embracing all of the tools we have now that are being talked about and shared. So I'm really excited about that. And I guess hoping that women and their, Jen's daughters, for example, will benefit from even doctors now talking more to their patients about, okay, menopause isn't just something that you have to get through. Like there's things we can do. There's, like you said, Kelli, the strength conditioning, on my side of things, the nutrition. There's so many things we can do now. There's readily available hormone replacement therapy for a lot of women that qualify for it. There's also the mindset shift that we are talking about as a society is like, you're not just done once you hit menopause. I love this conversation.
Exactly.
Like, right? Like this is a new season for you. What kind of opportunities are going to open up for you? Can you embrace? Like, what does the second half of your life look like? It's almost like a rebirth now, like a menopause renaissance.
Mm-hmm. I would agree. And it is changing. You just hit the nail on the head too. It's that mindset. It's shifting our mind. So it's a mind shift into this whole other educational piece where when we were in our 20s, Leah, did you ever think about menopause? Actually, I thought 40s was like way over the hill. I thought it was like, you're so
done.
old at that point. You're done. And oh my gosh, like my 40s have been amazing. Being at 47, I love these years. And so I wish I knew at my 20s how amazing every year was going to get, but having the education too and the foresight to be able to look ahead into what's to come. People the girls in their 20s right now are so lucky that this is all being discussed now.
Yeah. I mean, I think if anything, the challenge for that generation and the teenagers coming up is like almost like an overwhelm of information because you can get it everywhere, and sifting through what is helpful, what is real, what is maybe quackery or not so supportive to your health. I mean, I think that's going to be the true challenge, is that with all the avenues we have with social media and the internet and all the ways you can consume information, is finding, a couple voices, and maybe it's in real life, maybe it's online, that you really know and trust, and that you follow for good advice.
I agree.
Hey, Leah, thanks so much for your great podcast. Something I've been experiencing lately is I've been having a lot of aches in my hands, probably because I am using my phone way too much than I should. But I think with kind of maybe overall joint pain that's also just kind of starting to set in with perimenopause, I'm wondering if I'm feeling it more because of my hands and pretty much being on my phone too much. So, do you have any thoughts on what I can do? Any exercises or stretches I can use to kind of help the pain go away? Thanks.
That is a great question. And unfortunately, you are not the only one experiencing joint pain, especially increasing joint pain as we enter perimenopause and menopause and beyond. So first of all, it's a complex answer. And I know Kelli is going to jump in here on the fitness movement side of things. But from a nutritional standpoint, a lot of joint pain can actually be related to what you're eating and what your body is potentially reacting to. So it's not like a sudden allergic reaction, like if someone ate peanuts and they had anaphylactic shock. That's not the type of food issue I'm talking about. I'm talking about a food sensitivity. And as we age, unfortunately, it is more common to have food sensitivities based on the health of our gut. So our gut can start to become what's called leaky as we age. And so food particles are going through our gut wall that aren't supposed to be going through before they're digested down to something that our body isn't going to react to. So some common foods are dairy and gluten. Unfortunately, all the good stuff that we love, the baked goods and the cookies and the cakes and all the ice cream. Unfortunately, gluten and dairy are two of the most common food groups that people react to. The good news is you can figure this out quite easily at home. You can do what's called an elimination diet, and you can take those foods out for a minimum of 3 weeks and then test them. You add them back in and see. My experience with my clients is many people are reactive to more than one food. So you may want to seek out some sort of health professional that can help guide you on the proper way to do an elimination diet. Otherwise, if you just cut out one food, let's say dairy, you may experience some relief, but there may be another food that's causing the reaction as well, the inflammation in your joints. And if you're not cutting that food out as well, that you may not get the relief you're looking for. So I would suggest a proper elimination diet, following the recommendations of a healthcare professional. Again, by the way, this is not medical advice here. I know I have to say that it's a CYA, but none of what I'm sharing here is medical advice. Always seek out your doctor or another medical professional. But once you investigate that, I can give you some hope here that many people find relief, especially with joint pain. So that will be a good place to start. And in the meantime, I know Kelli has some things to say about this too.
I do. So along with Leah's piece on the nutrition, one of the other things you can do is actually strengthen. So a couple things here. We can strengthen, we can stretch to help alleviate some of those joint pains. Our body might also, some of our movement patterns might also be contributing to some of these issues. Now, you mentioned the phone, being on the phone too much. Yes, you guys, we are all probably on our phones way too much and way more than we think we are. But some of the things that we can do to really benefit, our hands, our shoulders, our spinal health, our posture, all of those things, our body is all intertwined. So as we say, it might just be from this. It's likely not just what you're doing with your hands. It could be a muscular imbalance somewhere else. It could be your body shifting the way your movement patterns. And so some of my suggestions in that space would be, definitely work on, stretching those areas, but then also stretching other areas of your body. Because like I said, it's not just pinpointed to one area. Likely it could be the root cause could be somewhere else as well. Grip strength. I like when people, let's go back to heavy lifting or lifting heavy things and weights. It improves your grip strength. So we really are working to improve the muscles all over your body so that you can hold your body in a better position. You can move your body in a better position. One thing that, since we're touching on, you mentioned the electronics. One thing I just want to give you guys quick is my favorite tip. Instead of always rounding down, pulling on our spine, having the poor posture, letting ourselves sit in our joints, to hold yourself more muscularly and really focus on your posture when you are on electronics can help alleviate a lot of those pings and pains that we feel, especially when you get into bed late at night and you lay down in bed and your low back just goes, oh, hey, I'm here and you didn't treat me right all day. Your low back is meant for stability. It's not meant for that mobility that we're oftentimes putting it through. So in regards to that, stretching the body properly, learning all about posture, which I am more than happy to share more and to help you, but just learning how to move our bodies properly and change our movement patterns so that, we're not constantly always sitting, we're not hunched, we're not rounded, we're not really into our joints and creating other issues for our bodies. And so really moving into that strength piece, holding your body muscularly, you'll notice a huge difference. And if some of those things don't work, then obviously, just like Leah said, medical advice, medical professionals, or specific experts in their field, like a physical therapist or other certain experts might be able to help as well.
And Kelli, what about those like grip balls? Is that something like I think sometimes it's called
Absolutely.
stress balls?
Yep, you could do stress balls. I love lacrosse balls also because they're a harder ball. Great for your hands for rolling underneath your feet as well. That
feels
also
so good.
loosens. Yeah, I was gonna say it loosens things up. So if you're, and the tension in our body, by the way, tension and inflammation, like Leah was saying, the tension also might be leading to some of these other issues. So just really kind of giving yourself an overall health and wellness check and really doing specific things to see if that helps. If it doesn't help after a specific period of time, moving on to trying something else.
I'll have to throw in one more thing. Hydration. If you are not reaching half your body weight in clear liquids, in ounces of that goal each day, we need to talk, because hydration is really key also to just overall health, but joint health as well. Your body needs to clear out stuff too. So you can pee it out, you can poop it out, you can breathe it out, you can sweat it out. All of those require water.
See, we will talk about all the things. So you just come on into this Q&A. We've gotcha.
That's a great reminder to go check out the link here and ask your own question. We clearly will answer anything and everything. So we'd love to feature your question on our next Q&A episode. It was really, really fun to have you on, Kelli, and I can't wait to do this again.
Me as well. This is so fun. I love learning more about what other people are struggling with, because if one person is thinking it and they have that question, I guarantee you, I always say this, there's so many others out there with that same exact question. So you guys get your questions in for us.
Totally. See you next week.
Bye, guys.
Hey, lovely listeners. Before we go, remember, this is just the beginning of our journey together. If you're excited to explore more about hormones, weight loss, and stepping into your power, check out leahvachani.com to see how you can join me in thriving through menopause. And don't forget to stay connected with me on Instagram at Leah Vachani for daily doses of laughs, inspiration, and insights. Until next time, stay fierce and fabulous and keep owning your journey wherever you are in the world.